name's Stacey. I'm one of the midwives at Kettering Hospital, and I'm going to talk to you about the latent phase of labour or early labour. So early labour is from 0 centimetres dilated until 4 centimetres dilated with regular contractions. So you're classed as term from 37 weeks of pregnancy until 42 weeks of pregnancy. If you're less than 37 weeks of pregnancy and you are having signs of labour, you must call labour ward straight away for some advice, as you are classed as premature at this point. So from 37 weeks onwards is when all of this advice would apply. So in your pregnancy, you might find that you do have tightenings, which is where your abdomen will go really tight and then soft again, but there's no pain with that. That's called a Braxton Hicks, and you can get them in the earlier stages of pregnancy. Braxton Hicks are absolutely fine, and it's not a sign of labour, so don't worry if you are having them. A contraction is when your abdomen goes really tight and then it will go soft again, and it is accompanied with pain. That's what we call a contraction. Now, in early labour, you will find that your contractions are very irregular. So you might find that you start to have these tightenings of your abdomen with the pain, but you might have them every 20 minutes and then they might stop again. And then you might have them again a few hours later, or maybe even a few days later. Early labour can be so random, and it doesn't always mean that it will progress straight away to established labour. It may well be that it's on and off for a little while, and that's absolutely fine. When you're in early labour, what we do suggest is you stay at home for as long as possible, just because we know that the more relaxed you are, the better that this will progress. And in your own environment, you are more relaxed than being in the hospital environment. So as long as you're coping okay, do stay at home in the latent phase of labour. What you do need to do though is start timing these tightenings, because we as midwives want to know how often they're coming and how long they are lasting as well. So when we say time them, we mean from the start of one contraction to the start of the next contraction, and we want to know the time in between those contractions. We also want to know how long they last for. So with early labour, like I said, it could be very random, the time in between the contractions, and they may only last maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. The pain initially will be quite low down, like a period cramp. So although your whole abdomen is going tight and then soft, the pain is just quite low down with these early labour pains. And gradually, as these start to establish, you'll find that the pain goes all over your abdomen with those tightenings as well. So do start timing them. You can get apps on your phone, or just pen and paper, start writing them down as well. Now for you, whilst this is happening, you can either take 2 paracetamols, that's 1 gram of paracetamol every 4 hours, but you can have a maximum of 4 doses in 24 hours, and have a warm bath just to see if that helps with those pains. Or you can try and encourage them to come more, which is such as mobilisation. So do start walking. Birthing balls are really good as long as you're sitting on them with your legs apart, and you can rock around or bounce on them as well. Or up and down the stairs as well, that's no problem. But mobilisation might even help with these contractions to come a bit more. There's lots of different positions on this board here to help as well. So walking around, this is the one for the birthing ball here. So as long as you're sat upright, legs apart, and that will hopefully help baby to descend into your pelvis further, which will help contract your, to dilate your cervix, sorry. Good, so you need to be calling labour ward then when these contractions are regular. So regular then, what we suggest is if you're having a contraction every 3 minutes and it's been like that for at least an hour. So you are getting 3 contractions in a 10-minute period, and they should last between 30 and 60 seconds. But do be aware, even if they're not as regular as this, or if they don't last as long as this, if you find you're not coping very well at home with that, please call labour ward as well, that's no problem. Also, if you think your waters have broken, so your waters will either break with a big gush, it's clearly your waters, or it might just be a tiny leak if your hindwaters have got almost like a little puncture in the bag, and you will just find you're constantly wet. So what we do suggest is wear a maternity pad, so one of the big maternity pads, wear that for at least an hour, and if you're finding that that is definitely getting wet after an hour, make sure to call up labour ward to let them know your waters have broken. Even if you're not having these contractions but you think your waters have broken, you must call labour ward, because we need to determine whether it is your waters that have broken. Okay. or if you have any bleeding. So you may well find that you do have a show or you pass a mucus plug. This is just the lining of your cervix coming away as your cervix starts to soften, and it's like a dischargey, mucousy loss you have down below, and there may well be a tiny bit of blood mixed in with that, and that's absolutely fine. But if you're having just fresh red bleeding on its own, you must call labour ward straight away. Or if you're concerned with baby's movements, if baby's movements slow down or change from their normal pattern, do make sure to give labour ward a call for some advice over the phone. So as soon as you feel like these signs of labour are happening, please do call labour ward, and we do suggest you call them first before turning up, because we do need to make sure that we do have a room available and a midwife available to look after you. Thank you very much.